Within Ted Lasso, we've seen the character Nate undergo a real transformation within the show. However, within Season 3, the creators have really flipped it on its head, and we're now seeing a side to the character that we hadn't really seen before. With him moving over to West Ham and being hailed as a wonder kid, it certainly looks as though it's gotten to his head and his whole personality and demeanor has changed. So it got me thinking, how will Nate's character finish up in this season of the show? Well, I thought I'd give my theories and predictions on what I think will happen to him. So let's get into it. Here is how Nate will finish in Ted Lasso Season 3. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. What's good about this season of Ted Lasso is that there are a variety of different routes that the character could take, which ultimately means that he could arrive at so many different destinations. However, from the first episode of this season, it's felt as though it's been leaning towards a redemption arc, rather than a journey that's heading down the road of no return. The road of no return is the mindset that the character definitely has at the moment, but I feel it is going to change. Let's start by exploring a negative route that could be taken by Nate and would provide a twist to what I feel as though we're all expecting. Nate continues his ruthless behavior at West Ham. One ending that we could potentially see happen for Nate is that he could go on to live up to the comments that were being made about him by Rupert and the press. Nate is currently being hailed as the second coming of Pep, and he's expected to deliver a fantastic season for West Ham in his debut season, which at episode 3 of the show he's currently doing. So one ending would be that we'd most likely go on to see him continue this run of form for the entirety of the season, and lead West Ham to a Premier League title, whilst being the manager that everybody expected him to be. I imagine whilst this would be happening, his ego would most probably be continuing to grow and his mindset would be clouded still over his friendship with Ted. I think if this is the case, then I don't think that we would see the both of them reconcile at all before the season finale, and it would show that only winning mattered to Nate, the polar opposite to Ted. Ted does care about winning, but he's very much focused on relationship building and getting to know the team on a personal level, with the care that gets invested being so important. However, Nate would be showing no signs of that whatsoever. With it looking like Ted is going to be going off to the States at the end of the season to be with his son Henry, it would also mean that he wouldn't be able to say goodbye and their relationship would forever be tarnished. We know that both West Ham and AFC Richmond are going to be facing each other twice this season. And it seems as though in one of the games at least, which looks like it could be in episode 4, the relationship between the both of them is still going to be frosty, with Nate walking off from Ted without shaking his hand and the game looking as though it's going to be a lively one in terms of harsh tackles and brawls erupting on the pitch. It even looked like West Ham won. So Nate wasn't prepared to say fair game to Ted. He chose to ignore him and let him soak in his loss even more. So if that's anything to go by, then things may go past the point of no return, which it certainly feels as though it is at right now. Let's look at a more positive direction. Nate leaves West Ham and returns to AFC Richmond. One approach that we could see happen with the direction of the character Nate is that we could see him leave West Ham and end up going back to AFC Richmond. I'd find it hard to believe that Nate would get the sack due to the fact that he's a very good tactician and is able to get good results from a team. But I feel we could see him start to realize that maybe he's starting to become a person that he doesn't enjoy being, nor does he relate to, which could cause his mentality to start to change, which would ultimately lead to a poor run of form for the team, which then would put Nate's job on the line. With us seeing the message from his mother in episode 1 of the show, where she said how his father didn't like the fact that he cursed during an interview, and that she recognized that he was being different to how he usually came across, I feel this could be a hint to the very fact that he may start to not like the person that he's becoming, which may tie into the arc of reconciling with Ted, as that could be the only thing that could help clear his mind. Something else that occurred in the first episode of the show that we saw that could hold some importance was when Ted moved Nate back with the team in the Lego versions of themselves, and there was the Premier League trophy there too. So it certainly hinted at the idea that Nate could find his way back to Ted and the boys at AFC Richmond by the end of the season. If that did happen, with Ted looking as though he's going to be parting ways with the team at the end of the season, this means that we could see Nate finding himself embedded within the staff at the club, whether that be head coach or claiming the spot of tactician off of Roy, something which I imagine Roy would most likely prefer to give back. So this would allow us to see Nate and Ted repair their relationship, Nate become more of the person that he once recognized in the mirror, and all of the relationships be mended, providing a more happy and positive ending for the character. It would also mean that a new manager would have to go in to replace Nate at West Ham, and it could also jeopardize West Ham's position in the table, which would mean that if AFC Richmond was still performing well, the chances of grabbing the title would be increased if West Ham start to fall down. So it could be a win-win. Which route do I think is most likely? Personally, I think the arc of redemption is the most likely scenario to occur in this third season. It feels as though the foundations have been laid for that, and whilst we've not seen the pair of them on screen together in this season so far, I think the next episode is going to be one that shows the true dynamic of the relationship and where things are currently at. Hostile, frosty, and extremely one-sided when looking to build a repair. I think with Nate going on to get sacked from West Ham, I believe he will be viewed as a villain by the public, something we got glimpses of in the first episode following the press conference. His method of playing dirty is something that will come back to get him in the court of the public opinion, but I feel Ted will look past all of that. I feel he'll see Nate for who he truly is, and understand that he didn't truly mean the things that he said. I believe Ted and Nate will be friends by the end of the season, and all of the relationships will be mended. Nate may not be the most liked in the public eye, but the people that matter, Ted, Coach Beard, Roy, his mother, father, Rebecca, and the rest of the team will most likely forgive him for what he did, and there will be a happy ending. That's the route that I hope the show goes down, and the one that I think would provide a good amount of closure and provide a happy ending all round. I guess with us being a third of the way through the season, we've got a little while to go, and plenty of drama that's about to unfold. With it not looking as though there's any repair in sight, I feel we've got a little while longer before the cracks in Nate's persona that he's portraying start to show, so it's going to be interesting to see for sure. So, there you have it, how Nate will finish in Ted Lasso Season 3. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think is going to happen to Nate? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.